industry presence is needed in the curriculum development, implementation, and evaluation. But as we stand here, or we sit here, I think there is very little of the industry in the three elements. And if the industry will not come in with the force that is supposed to come in with, then the skills that we want to have for the industry is not going to happen. So there is need for us to work closely as the industry and as the trainers so that we can have the skills that are needed here in Kenya and anywhere else. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I would like to get this to our panelists, three of them directed to DG Tiveta, and our brother from Kenya National Chamber. You'll also respond to one on incubation. Director, kindly.
Yeah, I think if I start with a question from Paul, when we talk of entrepreneurship, it's basically looking at the end product or process of getting into a business idea rolling out. However, the initial stages is how do you put the pieces together. And if you remember some of the products or some of the engagement we've been having with our development partners in some of the projects we have together. In the NUFIC project, one of the components of the entrepreneurship was to instill incubation and innovation in our institution, and through that entrepreneurship process, we get them roll out. And for this to happen, then there must be a close working relationship between institutions and the industry. And when we evaluate the industry capacity in our country, majority of the industries are in the informal or micro and small enterprises. And that is, in essence, the reason why we want to work very closely with the chamber, with their network across all counties, to ensure that we create at least a centralized incubation and innovation center, or innovation and incubation center. What happens is the trainers will be able to identify the students' ideas that can be nurtured and hopefully commercialized in a centralized place. Then link them with the industry through chamber or other industry players and be able to raise them to be part of the membership of chamber. In fact, the reason why we wanted to have chamber is that is one avenue where chamber can also grow their membership, because you are getting these young innovators coming from TVET institution, process them in an incubation center, and eventually transfer to this. What must be done to succeed, and I said again, we must have proper policies in place that support this, including the incentive that will bring the industry to work with the TVET institution. And that is the only way we can formalize the informal sector, because you'll then be transiting into industry in a more formalized way, get into a chamber in a more formalized way, and continue growing from micro to small. The second question from a trainee from Rift Valley Technical Training Institute, which is an institution I highly regard. I started my first job as an assistant lecturer at the Rift Valley Technical Training Institute. And the question you ask is very pertinent. One thing I've realized is that we talk a lot about CBET without understanding what it entails. Because the moment you understand what it entails, then you'll be able to make sure that you follow all the processes required for the implementation of CBET. If you go to our website and see the accreditations that we have given in institution in terms of the numbers for engineering and applied sciences courses, a class is supposed to be between 20, 30, at most 40. This is because there must be a close interaction between the trainer and trainee, and also sufficient equipment. That's why when we come to assess the institution, we give the numbers based on the capacity you have in terms of equipment, infrastructure, and the number of trainers. But we have seen a number of institutions going ahead to inflate those numbers. Of course, we have tried very much to make them reduce the numbers. One of the things that I wanted, and we wanted to be an outcome of this skills competition, CBET assessment is basically what you are seeing here, where these competitors are doing. Can you imagine if you have 50, 100 students who are going to be assessed, let's say in an electrical, and mark you, this is only one set of the several skills we assess in CBET. You can see the magnitude of the resources that we require. So I've realized sometimes we talk too much about CBET, yet we don't understand what it entails to implement it. And I hope by end of this process, most of us will appreciate what it takes to implement CBET. Finally, a good friend from New Jersey. Luckily, there's a project or a program that we are currently discussing on utilizing the expertise from diaspora. International Organization for Migration is currently working on a program to identify experts, and mainly Kenyan experts abroad, who can be brought to work with our institution to be able to share the expertise and experience in a program that will be supported by our International Organization for Migration. I'm currently involved in that project, and I would be very happy, before you leave this meeting, share your contact, because we are going to start putting in place a framework, identify where these experts are, and be able to bring them under the diaspora. We are working very closely also with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Diaspora to be able to locate some of our experts who are working across the world to come and give back to their people. Thank you very much. I think I've answered the question.
Thank you. Thank you. Very comprehensively answered. Yes.
My question was
There's a
very
rejoinder
simple. No? My question was on industrial attachment. Engineer Ogenga, do we need to charge fees? Are we charging fees? Yes. I think this is something which can be cured, can be addressed. I have a solution, my brother, to that. One of the solutions, you have seen government investing so much in industrial parks. These industrial parks would need expertise. They would need attaches, industrial attaches. So all the vocational training institute principals, I want to challenge you, develop a rapport, work closely with the relative industrial parks, more so the ones which are being established today, so that you have a calendar based on the demand. And this would really cure so that they don't charge our attaches the fee. Already, parents are overburdened when it comes to fees. Government is doing a lot to support for vocational training institute. That capital grant that they are giving, Daktari, can't we consider just improving maybe a smaller percentage, and you put it in your budgets? If they will not hear you, as we can advocate and make noise from the background, so that students are not charged. Imagine you want to be charged from maybe Sigalagala, you have an industrial attachment in Kilifi, and you want to spend all that time, you go there for 3 months, you are being charged, you want to look for where to stay, it becomes very expensive, it becomes very demotivating. Another solution, I've seen us working with the lead industries like Bidco and others. Let's really develop partnership and MOUs. Let's have memorandum of understanding with these institutions so that they see that there is also demand. When they have attachees, those attachees would be productive. Some of us, like NCCI, when we have interns and attachees, we don't. In fact, my staffs are here. We pay them. One of them is a beneficiary. Brian, just tell them. Through our partnership with the county government, we absorbed more than 12 from Uasin Gishu County government. This one was not the flight here, Kwenda Inje. No. It was locally here, and we absorbed. He's one of them. He's now a confirmed officer working with me. I thought somebody would appreciate. We absorb that. And we pay them well, more than the salary of a P1 teacher. So these are what we really want to challenge other industries to come up to really innovate. Lastly, we need also to invest on feedback. For the principals who are here, when your students get attachment, please develop a tool for the feedback from the industries. Those feedbacks, when you share with the TVET authority and also other regulators, they would be able to help you redesign your curriculum to understand the ever-changing economic demands. Because things do change with this innovation and advancement in technology. So that when industries give you feedback, you will be able to know what the industry wants, what they need, if it is plumbing, electrical works, mechanical work, hairdressing. Nowadays we have changed, even men. We want our nails to be done well. You add that paint so that it can take like more than 1 month, so that because the economy has become very hard. So get to know what your consumers need. And the people who can give you such feedback are the industry players. So this is something which we really want to champion. Lastly, we are partnering with ICC. The ICC is not that court that charged our president. It is International Chamber of Commerce. And we want to really establish Center for Entrepreneurship.
Jeffrey.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kande. I just wanted first to highlight 2 points, and I think Dr. Langat has spoken well about it, a point on incubation centers and entrepreneurship. So first, what comes in mind is, as a government or as TVET institutions, we built this entrepreneurship culture within our institutions ourselves. Think themselves as productivity centers. And I'm going to use a very simple example. If I was to go to any TVET institution that is doing catering, and you walk into an institution, there's, like world-class Italian equipment of, catering, that kind of thing. But then when you walk in and you ask them, can you do me coffee? Then they say, this is for? They should look at themselves as income generating. We know the chamber can offer spaces for work-based learning, but what are we doing within our institutions themselves? Look at the curriculums that we are developing. Have we infused entrepreneurship training, or we wait till the last mile, then we start training people on business? Business is cultured. It's not, you can't start business at the end. You have to culture it and mainstream it throughout the process. The other thing, maybe from international experience, I think the issues of skills partnerships are very important, what he's raised, and skills partnership enhance issues of getting expert knowledge from the diaspora, but also working with institutions of excellence that exist within TVET institutions. TVET institutions need to partner with other TVET institutions. We will be looking at issues of labor migration. How do we have enough skills or sufficient skills for people to move? There is the demand issue, but there is the requisite skill that meets the market. So how do we cooperate with South Africa to develop a curriculum that then would respond to a specific, occupational profile, specific sector? How do we entrench skills development policies in sectoral policies? I would love to see, agriculture doing real skilling in that sector. I would like to see skills that are targeting tourism, skills that are targeting trade, so that when we are in this ministry, I want to see TVETA represented, NITA represented in the board, speaking about how do we really skill with that angle of that specific sector. And then The last one is on financing, and all the panels have mentioned, very good. But I also need to speak about, public-private development partnerships, which are key to financing models, and which are key also bringing responsibility of different industry players and the government to fold. I'm just going to look at a very simple example, what we are doing with Nakuru County and Narok County. So we have this program on public-private development partnership, where the donor provides money, the government provides money, and industry itself provides money. So we are responding to industry. Industry knows, like the chamber will tell you, we know we have lackage of this, we have lack of this, inadequacy of these skills within a specific sector. So you approach industry, you bring government, TVETA is there to develop standards and curriculums, NITA to develop curriculums as well, and then the industry tells you, let's shape this and let everybody put money into this kitty to ensure we skill in this specific area. We cannot put a lot on government to say that the government will fund the whole skills sector. It is our whole responsibility, from private sector to government, to development actors, to international actors, and even donors coming in to pull in funds into this kind of approach. So as a parting shot, I'm going to look at one thing, and I'm looking at you, Dr. Kande, a very progressive national qualification framework that we have, that's speaking to progression at all levels, and speaking to progression at different levels. We have, the craftsperson's kind of progression, and we have the formal progression level to the 10 levels. But one thing that we need to invest in as a government, and this is a discussion at the table, and I think yesterday we were with the PS, and she says she's keen on looking at how we integrate micro-credentials in our systems. I can tell you for sure, like 70% of our youth are in the digital economy. And Dr. Langan mentioned, we don't have occupations that could respond to this population of youth. And the digital economy is more even micro. It's more even micro, because you'd find somebody only working on micro tasks, like even data entry. But you see, if this is bringing bread to their table, that's an employable skill. The problem is that we always think about developing this huge curriculum that has multi-set of skills. We don't speak to industry. Industry could come and tell you, like I will use a very simple example, go to the EPZ. We have so many lines. And in the EPZ, there's just somebody who does buttons. In the EPZ, there's just somebody who does, collars. There's somebody who does a specific type of, but that's an employable skill. So how do we invest on these micro credentials, bring them to systems, and appeal to the digital sector as well? Because the digital sector is really struggling to be brought back. People have skills, they're earning in the digital economy, and you can see what the president is doing. He's transforming the Ministry of ICT, and now it's the Ministry of ICT plus digital economy. So we need to invest more on innovation. This is a start, and I think we were speaking with Engineer Ogenga, and he said, this is a very good initiative. We are starting, and one thing I know as Kenyans, once we start, we go full blown. So can we have more initiatives like this? Can we move forward to integrate best practices that even other countries are going to look at us? TVETA, we have countries which do not even have a TVETA authority. We've put standards, we've put a platform. So how do we move the next mile into achieving, a better system that would respond to the skills of youth, that will respond to the demands, and will fill into some of the economic sectors that we are looking at, strengthening within our systems. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Geoffrey, for those great insights. Yes, appreciating modalities beyond formal education and training, and of course, potentialities, amazing potential that is in lifelong learning. Thank you so much for that. We're just doing parting shot, our very great panelists. In the interest of time, I would like to invite Engineer Ogenga to give us your 1 minute parting shot.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kande. I think I'm in concurrence with my panelists. One is to assure our diaspora participant that the government approved the labor migration policy. And a draft bill is already ongoing that allows the space of establishing a network between labor export requirements. The fact that we need to partner with countries in terms of skills transfers, that bill looks at contexts of skills verification programs, contexts of skilling for labor export, contexts of developing that speak to the targets that we must meet. We have a target of 1 million labor exports. We have a target of 1 trillion remittances. So that bill, which is now in the public participation stage, then opens up the space that you're talking about. Two, like Dr. Langat said, the development of industrial parks is anchored on the term learning factories. And learning factories then point to the fact that we must create skilling ecosystems that talk to industrial skilling parks. And that is the context upon which skills enables the development of the industrial ecosystem in Kenya. The baseline requirement for industrial attachments, as talked to by our CEO, Chamber of Commerce, is currently at 200,000. But you're aware that the database of universities alone is over 600,000 as we talk today. So then we are requiring the participation of all industry players to open up spaces, because industrial attachment is a partial requirement for graduation. And as NITA, I think to a large extent our yearly target is about 100,000. And still we work very closely with the industries to open up spaces to at least a third of that requirement, which is currently standing at 600,000. The stipends that accrue to the beneficiaries under attachment is voluntary. But for the industrial training levy compliant employers, they are at liberty to ensure that their attachees are as comfortable as possible, properly supervised by 2 supervisors, and properly anchored into their industrial attachment scheme. And finally, of course, we are looking into the space of taking training to the industry. And that is why under the affordable housing program, we are required to on-site upskill and to on-site assess across all the launched affordable housing programs by the executive. And I think this is the space that we come in together as collaborators and partners to ensure that we support the economy in the manner in which the skills ecosystem is a key enabler for our economic growth. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Engineer Ogenga, for that. Patrick, your 1 minute as we end.
One, skills is a coefficient of a development. Let's support this. Two, WorldSkills Kenya has really repositioned Kenya, and let's really support it. It has really demonstrated that Kenya can really be planted to the global stage. The third one, let's develop and invest in that big data system for our skills expertise, so that we'll be able to engage all stakeholders to support this initiative. Lastly, I want to thank you on behalf of the Chamber leadership, the Ministry of Education, PS, the TVET Authority, all TVET institutions and the partners for really a wise decision to really have this skills competition, which is very historic, and it will not go unnoticed. Asanteni sana.
Absolutely, it will not go unnoticed. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in appreciating this panel, because it has done really a great job. Could we put our hands together for this team? Asanteni sana, as we get you now to join the rest of our colleagues. And as we sit, I would like to give this microphone to the Director General TVETA to invite our PS. Thank you so very much once again.
Okay, as I wait for the podium to be brought here, I think we can all appreciate that there is a lot that we can do together. We may not realize our potential when we are separately chasing for the same idea, because all of us in this room, most of us are involved in one way or another in training, and we are doing it our way, the way we know. But when we come together and share ideas like this, you can see that there's great things that we can do together. Second is, as a member state of WorldSkills International, we are guided on what we must do to support skills development through skills competition. And one of the things that normally is required is to provide a fair opportunity for any deserving young person to participate in competition. We mentioned in the beginning that we were not able to give that opportunity to all Kenyans because, one, we were constrained in time, two, resources. And that is why we asked institutions to choose on some skills they think they have capacity to do, and to limit the number of competitors to 5. However, this competition is giving us a lot of learning lessons that we are going to retreat after this. And I want to thank ILO. They have already agreed to sponsor a closure workshop for this competition, sometimes in October or November, so that we go through the experiences that we have learned, what we got right, what we've not gotten right, how do we improve it. So that as we embark next year, and as you know, skills competition is going to be an annual event, then we come up with a program of running regional competition, and we are going to work very closely with CATI, so that within the CATI regions, we are going to run the regional competition, and then we have the regional champions coming to national competition, and then we will get every year a team that will be representing Kenya, both in the African competition, that is African WorldSkills competition, and WorldSkills international competition. So today really is an opportunity for all of us to learn. Secondly, the competition, the nature of design of competition tasks, the assessment of the competition task, the way the experts and the judges are working together. Because remember, experts are the one who design these projects. Judges are the one judging the student in the process of how they are executing project. Basically, this is our CPET assessment is done. And the lessons that we are going to learn will address some of the concern that the student from RVTTI asked about how do you run a CBET in a class of 100 students when you are supposed to provide a practical opportunity for each one of them. If we understand this, then it is not going to be even the regulator telling you to reduce the student. It will actually be the trainer, the expert in your institution, who will be telling the principal, no, we cannot go by the numbers that we are bringing to our institution because of what it involves in implementing the CBET. So it will give us an opportunity to learn and be able to implement. And finally, for the ministry and the government to really get to know what policies we need to put in place so that we are able to support initiative like this, so that in future we'll be able to be in the top of the list in terms of the competencies and the skills that we are producing as a country. Currently we have a lot of, and the PS will tell us, a lot of demand, a lot of requests from across the world demanding the skilled labor from this country. then do we have an opportunity to be able to give and produce the people that we require? You have built a name as a country outside there in terms of the competence, the integrity of our people, the seriousness of our people. So we must match that confidence and the trust that we have across the world by the level of the skills that we produce. So tomorrow we will be, and I will be welcoming you for the closing ceremony. Tomorrow we'll be able to know the champions of all these skills areas that we are participating. And Madam PS, in this institution alone, we have 12 skills areas that are running. Dedan Kimathi, we have 2 skills areas. That is Industry 4.0 and Mechatronics. And Boma, we have restaurant service and culinary arts, or what we call cooking. And this is in addition to the 2 skills areas that have been concluded at the Technical University of Kenya on mechanical computer-aided design and CNC lathe. In total, that gives us 18 skills area in our inaugural competition. We expect out of this, we'll get a team, possibly not more than 5 teams, because again, entering the international competition for the first time, you need to start it small, but be very sure, so that over time, we'll be able to build the capacity to be able to send more teams. It is also giving us an opportunity to pitch in 2025 African competition for Kenya to host African competition in 2027. So all these are giving us learning lesson, and this will give us an opportunity to expose our youth and give our youth opportunity to learn from the best. Again, finally, we have brought institutions from different categories. We have institutions from line ministries, private institutions. There's no any other way that institution would have met on their own other than in a competition like this. We believe they'll have shared experiences. They will have known, put in place a network, which we expect that network to continue after this competition. So thank you very much for everyone who has gotten a chance to participate with us. If it was not for you, this competition would not have been this successful. And all of us, we are seated here spending time knowing that we are supporting that young Kenyan who is participating in this competition as a competitor. And we will all emerge victorious. So at this juncture, allow me to welcome the board chair, TVETA, Professor Florence, to make her remarks and invite the peers to address us. Thank you very much.
Our guest of honor today, the PS, State Department of TVET, Dr. Tarno, our host in this venue today, Dr. Langat, the CEO TVETA, and also the CEO WorldSkills Kenya, our able panelists who have given us a very professional, academic, and exciting discussion this morning. Dr. Kande, the CEO, Kenya National Qualification Authority, and who was also the moderator of today's discussion. Able competitors wherever they are, TVETA fraternity, and all the participants in this room, all protocol observed. Good afternoon. I want to take this opportunity to thank you so much, Madam PS, Dr. Esther Moria, for coming to grace this occasion and leaving your busy schedule so that you are with us. But before I continue with my remarks, allow me, Madam PS, so that I introduce the members of the board of TVETA who are here. Kindly, the members of TVETA board. Thank you. Director Sanga was here, and most probably he has left, but he has been with us, who is the CEO and also the secretary to the board. And of course, we have a representative from your department. We also have a we operate, Madam CS. I have a simple task to welcome you. But before I do that, I just want to take this opportunity and I say that throughout the 4 days we've been here, we have been exposed to a lot of skills. As we have gone around, Madam PS, you have realized that our youngsters have a lot of potential. They have a lot of talent. And what we need to do is to empower them, to push them a little bit so that the best comes out from what they have. They're doing this with a lot of passion. They're doing this with a lot of dedication. And as we have seen, all gender is represented. It doesn't matter whether it is in an electrical department, construction, water, and across all the skills, all the gender is represented. And I want to wish them all the best. Let the best winner win. So it is my humble request, Madam PS, to welcome you so that you can give your remarks. Thank you so much.
Please be seated. My sister, Professor Florence Idende, the DG TVETA, our host, Dr. Tarno, my sister, Dr. Kande, and the other panelists that I found you busy here doing a very good job. Engineer Ogenga, Nyangweso, where is he? He has left, and I wanted to really thank him. Okay. And all of us that are here, board members, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Let me say that really it is my pleasure to be here. I kept talking to Dr. Tarno and Dr. Kikurui Langati, but it just wasn't possible, and this is really occasioned by the fact that much of last week and part of this week we were in Western Kenya with His Excellency the President. So when you are out for so long, when you come back, then you are in trouble. Even today, I literally had to remove myself from the hands of Donna and Kanyi, who work very hard to put me on the seat so that I do the work. Dr. Kiprui, Dr. Tarno, people need us. And if Kenya does not, and I am convinced that it will, escalate to the next level of development, believe you me, we who are sitting here apart from the youngsters, we are to blame. Why? Because this country needs the skills to plummet to the next level of development. We are the ones in the education sector who are going to make this happen, and we are going to make this happen by ensuring that these young people have the skills. We need the skills in this country, like my friend Dr. D is always saying, because we have a lot of industries that the government is signing up with to come and set up in this country. We need people who are going to work in those industries, and it is my responsibility, it is your responsibility to ensure that these people are skilled, whether in class, like I'm always harassing Dr. Tarno to ensure that the trainers are well skilled to be able to teach my students. And I am not relenting, by the way. I was in Sigalagala the other day to see what Dr. Tarno is doing in terms of reskilling my trainers. I wanted to go to where are we going to today, Donna? Because I want to ensure that this is getting done, because I was asking for you so that I can congratulate you. Because I want Dr. Tarno to finish what he's doing now and now start on the technical part of it. I am not now too worried, Ogenga, about the curricula, because I think we have done quite well as far as recrafting the curricula is concerned. Then now it is the reskilling and upskilling, provided it is being done properly so that now the teachers are going, provided it is being done properly so that now the teachers are going to teach from the student perspective, not from the teacher perspective. As long as we are changing the paradigm, I am happy. Then after he finishes that, I'm on his case to start training the technical part of it. Because, like I've said, it is our responsibility to ensure these young people are skilled, and I am glad that we are doing a thing like this, because it also gives our youth the opportunity to get serious. If there is nothing else we are doing here, Dr. Kipkurui, it is that impartation of the seriousness in the minds of the young people. I was out there the other day learning the mind education, how we have to really reshape the mind of these young people so that they are able to be super serious about what they are doing. And I have asked CDAC to come up with a curricula that is going to be taught in our institutions of the mind language, the structure of the mind. And I am happy somebody along here spoke about, I think it is Engineer Ogenga, who spoke about the acculturation of our young people into the work that they are doing. And I think it was one of you, I think it was you, Ogenga. Sorry, I mean, you know where we come from, the two of us, so I can continue mentioning you.